Hey guys, today I'm going to show you what's wrong with this Craftsman lawnmower. We got a Craftsman lawn tractor here. It's got a 19 horse Briggs & Stratton engine on it with a no start problem. It'll spin over to the compression stroke and locks down. So check your battery voltage. Battery's fully charged. Check the starter solenoid. Getting full voltage through the solenoid to the starter. Starter motor, well, you take the spark plug out, so with it spinning like it should, you put the spark plug in it, it'll stop on the compression stroke. So go to check your valves, adjust your valves. I've adjusted this engine to Briggs & Stratton's spec. No luck. Still won't start, gets the compression, stops. So that tells me that the decompression on the camshaft is bad. This will make number 2 in roughly a year that I've had this problem on. 2 camshafts, both of them go bad. My parts guy has never had this problem. He just gets to adjust the valves and that's it. But with my luck, I get to pull the engine off, put the camshaft in it, you know, all that fun. So if your tractor gets into this kind of shape, your engine won't start, spins over, you adjust your valves, still won't start, well, before you start throwing a bunch of money at it, I'm going to show you one little trick here to test this. If this is duplicating your problem, you have a bad camshaft. No decompression on it, so you're getting full compression. That little starter don't like it, so here we go. Here is the no start issue that we're having. Key on. See there, it gets to the compression stroke and it's done. There's no decompression in this engine, so we're going to have to tire into it and find out what's wrong. Alright, here's your valves on this 19 horse Briggs & Stratton. You got your intake and exhaust. I got the spark plug out so I can turn it over by hand. I'm just grabbing the flywheel here. There's your exhaust. Intake. Here comes compression. And with compression, you already see that rocker arm blip just a little bit right in here, but we're not getting that. See, we're right back at exhaust, intake. Here comes compression, power stroke, and you're back on your exhaust. So you're never getting a decompression, and that's due to a faulty camshaft. So let's pull this motor off and tire into it and find the pieces. Well, I went to drain the oil out of this engine, and as soon as I dropped that plug, I heard a pink in my oil bucket. So I capped it right quick and looked. The pin that goes in the camshaft that holds the decompression lever run out of the engine with the oil. And whenever I turned this engine upright like this, right after unbolting it, I just set it up, I heard the parts falling around inside. So there we have it. It's another bad camshaft. I don't know if, I mean, that's 2 in less than a year. I mean, I done one last summer, well, maybe right at a year. It was about this time last year. Towards the end of the summer, I had to put another camshaft in one because it was doing the exact same thing. But the engine was running fine. Customer said it was running fine, shut it off, went to crank it back, would not start. So it could come apart while the engine's running and luckily maybe just fall out of the way. I don't know how they don't just get chewed up and just cause catastrophic failure. But let's bust this side cover off and see what the carnage is inside. Alright, here we go. Got these bolts loose. Let's work this side cover off and see what we got. Well, alright. There's something very important. Don't forget your oil pump drive. You forget that, you'll be doing this again. This is your oil pump right here. I don't know what that is. Here's some of your oil fling and your governor. It may have broke part of that governor. I'm not exactly sure. Here's your camshaft. This is what we'll be replacing. Alright, let me pull this out and we'll go from there. Well, it was camshaft failure. The decompression is broke off. Right here is your little flyweight. At a certain RPM, this swings out, which allows full compression. Until then, it gives you no compression so that it'll start. Well, as soon as, I think it's like 600 RPM or something, once it pretty much hits a lick, this will swing out. See that little D? I don't know if you can see the D shape right there. That is on a pin. And whenever it rotates, it pulls that pin down, falls into the camshaft, you gain full compression. So this engine needs a camshaft. We're going to go ahead and finish pulling all this out so we can clean it real good. You don't want none of that stuff going back through your oil pump and brand new camshaft. It's just not good for break-in. But anyway, we're going to get this all tore apart and cleaned up, and we'll go from there. It didn't look like it hurt the governor. I was afraid that, so you got your governor here. These little flings on it help fling the oil around. And then this, of course, is your actual governor mechanism. The gear here runs on your crankshaft. And then that just dips down into the oil and slings the oil around. So it is a full pressurized lubrication system, but it just helps fling oil like up to the camshaft where you don't have a pressurized. It's pressurized at the crank and rod, but not really in to the camshaft or up to the cylinder head. So that's where this comes in. It takes care of all that problem. But yep. And this is the corresponding. I don't know if you can tell. It's kind of the D shape that goes into that, and there's a spring somewhere down in there, and then the pin come out with the oil whenever I drain the oil. So that's where that's at. So yep, we'll get this crank pulled out, cleaned up, be ready to go back together. Well, guys, finally got the new camshaft in for the Briggs & Stratton lawnmower engine that we had the no start with. And just want to do a unboxing here and show you the difference between a good camshaft and a bad camshaft. So let me go get the old one and I'll put it next to this new one, and you'll definitely see what I'm talking about with the decompression. Alright, here we go. This is the old camshaft. This is your new one. Your new one comes with a new oil pump driver. So that's pretty neat. That's the first time I'd seen them throw one of those in. And then of course you get your new tappets. Always put in your new tappets. They wire to the cam. You can use these if you're in a pinch, but they're going to wire out prematurely. They have a wire pattern that go together. So if it comes with new ones, use the new ones. If it don't come with new ones, try to get new ones. Anyway, enough about that. But you can see all the parts here that were the decompression that's supposed to be right in this area. Well, look here. They are here on this one. And this is your little flyweight. As the engine's spinning, that slings out. If it's not slung out, see how that shaft interrupts the cam lobe right here. Alright, that's your little blip that gives you a decompression. As this slings out, look there, the flat comes in, you get your cam profile back. But whenever you cut it off, sometimes you might hear these things on some of them. I noticed a lot of Kohlers, you can hear them. Whenever you turn them off, you hear a click, click, click until it quits turning. That's this. And then it's popping that valve too, so that's where your noise is coming from. Now if you have excessive noise, it may be loose valves or, you know, another problem, but I have been able to hear those. Alright, we got that new camshaft in this Briggs. We got it all buttoned back up. I want to just take a minute here to show you what the decompression does to the valves. How it kind of blips the valve, allows the decompression, and that's where you can use this little starter to crank such a large engine. So let me get y'all fixed up so you can see these valves, and we'll go through each stroke and you'll be able to see the decompression, and we'll go from there. We're about ready to hear this thing run again. Good deal. Okay, I've got this engine stood up so we can see the valves here, but the exhaust valve is open at the moment. This lower valve is your intake. The higher valve is your exhaust. So there's our exhaust coming back. There's our intake stroke. Alright, now watch this intake valve. Alright, it's shut. See it cracking back? And you can hear the click. That's that audible click of the decompression as the tappet slides over that little pin. And then we're back to exhaust. And here's the intake again. Listen for the click and notice the little blip in that valve. Let's see if I can get steadied up here. See there? That valve is shut right there. It's starting back down, and then it's back shut there. So that tells me that the decompression is in operation. And if you have a lawn tractor with a no start issue, or it gets to a hard spot and doesn't spin on over, I would check that. See if it's doing that little flick for the decompression. If it's not, then you know that adjusting the valve isn't going to fix it, because it's got to have that for it to start. Keeping your valves in adjustment will help, but if you don't get that little blip from your camshaft transferred here, it don't matter how tight you put the valves, it won't start. Alright, here we go. Well guys, got the engine bolted down, I got oil in it, got everything wired back up. Let's see if it'll start. With that new camshaft, should spin over no problem, fire right up. So let's see what we got. Well, there you go, folks. That's your problem solved. If your Briggs & Stratton breaks the decompression off the camshaft, put a camshaft in it, you're back in business. Y'all have a good one.